Hello there and welcome to yet another exciting episode. This is Titanadala, the podcast. My name is Charlie, I'm your host, and like every other week, we get to bring you and celebrated artists and people in the creative industry. But before we get into it, remember that with Bet 11, every Monday, we call it the first Bet Insurance Monday. All you have to do is make a deposit every Monday, place a bet, and you win anyway. That means if you make a deposit with a minimum amount of 100 kwacha every Monday, and place qualifying multiple bets. If the bet is lost, you receive 100% free of up to 200 kwacha. Now tell me what can beat that. So go ahead, go to bet11.co.zm and register today and start placing your bet and start winning. My guest today, prolific songwriter, producer, and the list goes on. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot talk about Zambian music without mentioning his name. And for a long time, I've been wanting him on the show, and we finally made it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking to Kekero. How you doing?
How's up, man?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, man.
Oh, thanks. Pleasure.
We've been wanting to make this happen for the longest time.
For the longest time, Charlie, we go way back. And I don't know how this is coming to happen now, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's just about... It's about time, I think.
I tell you, last year...
prominence too, you know.
Yeah, exactly, man, exactly. Last year was crazy, man, in terms of Zambian music. Like, a lot was closed, and not only in Zambia, like, globally, it was just crazy. The pandemic, no gigs. How was it for you? Like, how are you surviving?
Last year was a hell of a year, man. Yeah. Can say we survived by the grace, bro. Yeah,
absolutely. It just has to be.
I'm telling you, we survived by the grace, you know. God has a way of just, you know, making his people, you know, make it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know.
And I was telling you, a lot of people, like, one of the most affected industries was the entertainment, because now it means shows.
Most days there were no shows, and you know how the Zambian music industry is structured is that we as artists heavily rely or depend on shows, you know.
Yeah.
So if you have a year that has dictated that there will be no shows.
No shows. Now you have to start making plan Bs now.
Yes, plan Bs, and that automatically translates into, you know, bankruptcy and the like.
Exactly.
You know?
And you know, this also taught a lot of artists one thing: to start investing.
Yes.
Yeah, because you know, if another one hits, like, hey, what am I going to do now?
Yes. So if another 2020 and 2021 came through, you know, it was an eye opener for a lot of us, you know, because back in the day we could, you know, make a few coins here and
next weekend is the same thing, you know.
So we didn't, as artists, we didn't have that, you know, knowledge, or we went
open to investment ideas and all that. And you know, Entertainment Monday, the way it comes every weekend.
Entertainment Monday comes every weekend, and you know what that does to you? It makes you think it's gonna be like that
for the longest
forever, you know. So as you get it, you spend it.
Yeah, it just keeps and goes. It comes, comes and goes.
Whatsoever.
Yeah. I haven't watched so many of your interviews. You're one of the people that stays off the cameras, but I mean, your works speak for themselves. But before we get to your works, man, tell me, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Kitwe. I've been up and about, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'm a guy who's been everywhere.
Yeah.
I was born in Kitwe, stayed in Ndola, came to Lusaka, went to Mansa, then came back to you know. So I think even in what really just helps me to like be diverse in how I write my music or do my music is because I've been in a lot of places and I've seen a lot of things, you know. Mayadi, ghetto, the village, so
everywhere you just vibe.
Yes, I vibe everywhere, bro.
So at what point does music get to you? Like, say, you know what, this is what I really want to do. And how did this come about?
I think I had a lot of free time to myself at one point.
Yeah.
You know, because there was a time in life when I wasn't in school.
Yeah.
Like for the longest time, you know. When I wrote my grade 9 exams some time back, like I wrote my grade 9 exams back in like 2001. So I only went to school in 2004. So between that time I was doing nothing at all.
Yeah.
So, and you know, I was in a town where I was new. I didn't have friends.
Yeah. That's Lusaka then?
No. That was Mansa then.
Mansa,
so the only thing I I could put my time towards music at that time, you know. So it became my friend. So then I think at that time is when I realized, you know, I think I should take up music seriously and just make it, you know, something,
And at that time, I would say that music in Zambia was just like sort of coming up after that long dry spell of Kalindula and then now getting into the new school. What was the motivation? Because there wasn't much to look at, like, you know?
Yeah.
What was the drive, though?
I think for me, you know, at that time we had, as Zambians, we had realized that, you know, we can actually look for music within ourselves, you know. It was at that time when the focus shifted from listening to a lot of R&B, Craig Davids and the like to
Rumba.
Yes, having our own Danny's, JK's, you know, Black Moon too.
Yeah.
So it was at that time when I just, you know, felt like, I think, you know, being a Zambian musician wouldn't be a bad thing too, you know, because look at the love that these guys are receiving.
Yeah.
You know? So it was, especially where I was, Mansa, it was Zambian music everywhere. Everywhere you went, you know. So I think it was at that point when I thought, you know.
Yeah, and who are you looking up to that time? Because I think there was just a couple names going on.
Yeah, there were only a few names. I really looked up to Danny. Danny really inspired me at that time, you know.
Yeah.
Because Danny he is fire, you know.
Yeah.
So I drew a lot of my inspiration from Danny's music at that time.
Yeah.
So I started writing as way back as 2002, you know.
2002. You're a legend.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But I was, you know, I was very young though. But yeah, that's how long it is.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. That's really amazing.
Yeah.
And which one was like the song that you did and actually gave you to say, I think this can work? Because I know Kudala Mwenze really, like it's if you do a song that is good enough, people are gonna love it, and that will give you the motivation. Which song for you do you remember that sort of gave you the breakaway?
For me, I don't know whether you mean my break into the mainstream or
not into the mainstream, just a song that gave you to say like, I think this can work for me.
No, personally, that a song that a lot of songs, bro.
Yeah,
because from Mansa, you know, when I finished my high school back in Mansa, I came to Lusaka.
Yeah.
And then I continued with my music, obviously. So when I came to Lusaka, we tried a few studios here there.
Right.
You know, I was my brother-in-law could take me to, because he also is a musician.
Oh,
actually.
Yeah?
So okay, let me say.
Anybody we know?
Yeah, he's I think he's a gospel singer.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Who's that?
He's SDA actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's very prominent in the SDA circles.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. So he's the one who he was a music director at church, you know. So it was at that point when I finished school and I'd come to Lusaka that we could go to. I could tag along when he went to the studio.
Oh yeah.
Know? So.
Oh, at this point, he's a recording artist.
At this point, he's a recording artist. And I could sing in some of his songs, you know, as a backing vocalist. Yeah, that was maybe, say, back in 2005-06. Yes. So, after that, you know, I said, you know what? Instead of me just tagging along to his programs, I think I should start making my own programs.
Yeah.
So, I went to Charleston. There was a guy called Tensam in Charleston. He had a studio. I met good guys, 2006, started making music together, wrote a couple of songs. My album was supposed to drop that year.
2006?
2006, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, 2006. But unfortunately, I had to move. I had to go to Ndola, you know. So everything that I had started here just died off.
Changed,
Yeah. So when I went to Ndola, it was back to square one, or zero. I don't know what we'd call it. Started looking for a recording house.
Yeah.
And then, you know, looking for a recording house wasn't the only challenge because there was the finance aspect to it too. You know, you could find a studio, but do you have the money?
Do you have the money to pay for studio time?
Yes.
To record?
So do you have the money to pay?
And those days, just even finding a studio was a hassle enough.
Finding a studio was a hassle, bro. So, do you have the money? So if you don't have the money, you would find a good studio, but you don't have the money, you will need to compromise. You need to find a space that would give you free studio time so that, and usually those spaces or those studios were not renowned studios.
Exactly.
So it was just basically now you doing your thing. So if they give you studio time, they won't give you a producer. So you,
Oh, it was hella crazy, man.
It was crazy, bro.
Wow.
So you need to be your own producer.
Yeah.
So I think it was at that time when I thought,
Let me start making music.
Let me start just trying. I could be my own producer so that I don't bother people. And because, there were times when, you find a studio, given studio time, the producer won't come through is because you haven't, or given them something.
So now you're forced to start working things on your own.
It was at that time when I said to myself, you know what? If things have to move, I'll need to learn how to produce myself.
Yeah.
So I didn't learn how to produce not until like 2007. All along I was just the singer,
Yeah.
So back in 2007 I said to myself, you know what? I'll need to start learning because, nchito siyenzoyenda waziva.
Yeah, you have to.
Unapanga sulipila.
Yeah.
Waziva, so you need to kumpapata wamsakirako something producer so that things can move.
Yeah.
And then 2007 I just decided, no, you know what, bro? I need to start doing this myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So at this point now, you are stuck between music production and trying to work on your own projects.
Yeah.
And obviously during the process, people started coming to you for their sound and whatnot. I remember pretty well when you set up your own crew. What was it called again?
We were Oxygen.
Was it Oxygen?
Was it Oxygen? Because
which one was the first one?
Oxygen was the first one.
Oxygen,
It was a group from Ndola, yes.
Ah, okay.
Yes, so we were Brian, a friend of mine who passed on, may so rest in peace, and a guy called Hambo P. So, and I. Yeah, we started that group back in 2007. Yes, at a time when I had moved from a studio where there was not much happening to another studio in Ndola, and I met these guys,
Yeah.
So these guys apparently had a sponsor.
Ah.
Yeah.
And this time sponsor is a big deal because that's your hope to get to the mainstream.
It is. There's no room for mistakes at this point, Charlie.
Yeah.
Because you know what? This is my shot.
Yeah.
At that time, it's just music for me.
Yeah.
So right from the word go, and this sponsor just came on board for the guys, I said I would need to prove myself. Yeah.
And so was it the other members of the group? Where are they now?
Brian is late. Yeah, may so rest in peace, bro. And Hambo P is he's around, still around. Still do music, yeah. We're still good like that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Looking at the journey from where you've come from to where you are now, is it something that surprises you, or it's something that you thought, I'm gonna get there? And where you are now, do you feel you've reached there, or there's still the bigger chunk of the dream that you haven't yet explored for you?
I think there's the biggest chunk hasn't been utilized yet or explored because at times looking at what I have contributed to the industry and what I have gotten in return, I feel the world still owes me, man.
Definitely, man.
I want to be honest about it. That's how I feel. So, sometimes I turn and toss and I'm like, what, man? It's too much energy being put in this.
Yeah.
And there's very little coming out of it.
Yeah.
What am I to do? What am I to do? Sometimes I think to myself, you know what? You're wasting your time.
Is it? It comes to that point where you start feeling like,
where you start feeling that way, because, the magnitude of the work put in and the result do not
match.
They do not match.
The work and the pocket, one outweighs the other. What do you think is like that, though? And what do you think must be done to sort of... Because I think in other industries, just being a producer, earn you a living.
Most definitely.
You know what I mean? What do you think is a problem here in the country?
I think it's just us as the people. We haven't gotten to a point where we appreciate arts to that level, We're getting there slowly. Because, people are getting corporate endorsements.
Yeah.
Here, there. Yeah, but I feel there's more that can be done, we want to reach a point where a kid out there could choose to be a music producer, and that's going to sustain their lives.
Exactly. Without questioning, like, why did you decide you
Yes.
want to... You know how crazy it was when you said you want to do music, like maybe 10, 20 years ago? They look at you funny, like...
Yeah. I received a lot of that from my family members and close relations,
Yeah.
At times they could, just these moments, yama setting, wapita, wabwera, wachuka ku studio.
Exactly.
Mwembaya banji lero.
Hey,
Mbatu music wacha. Oh, jam guys, watch banjo. You know what I mean? Huh?
Batu music.
Yes. So already society labels music
Exactly.
or art a certain way. A way to an extent where if a kid goes to a parent and says, I want to be a musician or I want to be a producer, it will evoke certain kind of emotions in the parents. So it's like that. No, there's been, I'm sure it's something you've seen, Charlie.
Yeah.
There's been what would I call them? Memes.
Yeah.
All over the show on social media saying, if somebody fails their grade 12,
they end up being a musician.
Because you know what I mean. So they think the fraternity or the industry is for failures in life, which is not the case, Yeah, so a lot of backlash there, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
but I think somehow things are a little bit changing now. People are kind of warming up to music as an actual career that people can actually take part into.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think we've taken so long to reach this stage, or we're moving at a pace that is where we at?
I think it's kind of I would call it a roller coaster ride for me, because there was a point in time in Zambian music when people made a lot of money off music.
Yeah.
I think those times, the time having a Dan, even a Chameleon,
Black Moon too.
Yeah. I've had conversations with these people, and one-on-one they've told me how things used to be musically at that time. So when that time just passed, there was a depression. Obviously, music didn't do so well at some point.
Yeah.
So again, with the coming of these record labels now, obviously people have started to gain confidence in the industry as well as and the art of music too. So I think it's been a roller coaster, right?
It's been a roller coaster. Yeah.
Just the ups and downs. But what we need now is we need a system that will put in place measures that will, let music be just an industry that will just be
that
there.
Is supported,
and,
and funded properly. If talent is there, let's see how we can push it to break barriers.
Most definitely. Charlie, you've seen what music has done to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Music ushered governments into office.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the power it has.
Yeah.
But the only unfortunate thing is that how people perceive it. Yes.
That's the thing. But I thought at the time, I think the biggest, one of the most memorable moments when music actually took part in one of the biggest national events is when the PF were ushered into office.
Most definitely.
It was literally a song that actually influenced people to actually make a vote.
Most definitely.
And I thought that was the opportunity to say, hey, listen, guys, this is our chance to break in now and say, hey, can you recognize us as an industry? Because I think we are contributing so much because look at South African music industry. Yeah. How they get their royalties. You're just sleeping. After releasing your song, there's people that are checking how many airplays your song gets.
Yes.
How many sales have gotten. All you receive is a check at the end of the month.
Yes.
But all of that, you have to push yourself here.
Here, I think the problem is that, when our colleagues have opportunities like that, this is something I've witnessed like firsthand. When you have a colleague who has an opportunity to represent you, they're only thinking of their bellies, bro.
They put themselves first.
I mean, it's their stomach and everybody else is later. So you might want to push a consented, let's say proposal or what you think should be done for the industry.
Yeah.
And you choose a representative, because obviously you can't go the whole lot of you.
Exactly.
There are these guys who have, the opportunities to meet these big people. But unfortunately, when they go there, they only represent themselves.
It's unfortunate.
So it's very unfortunate.
How's the association helping as regards to pushing the music agenda to be adopted as an industry in itself?
There's been, for all I know, there's been politics, Charlie, and it's an ugly sight, really.
Yeah.
It's an ugly sight because, if you have in-house wrangles,
yeah,
you have wrangles even before you go out there. I mean, who's going to hear you?
And one thing I know is entertainment, I think, is crazy to have an organized agenda as entertainers because everyone comes in with egos, you know what I mean?
My superstar. So,
you should listen to what I'm saying, not what he's saying. And the other person feels the same in the room. It becomes a problem.
It's tough. It's tough to just bring superstars together and make things work.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's really tough.
I
think that's also another hiccup that we face in the industry.
Yeah, but other than that, you've been doing so great. You've written songs for a lot of award-winning artists, man, and I think it's been amazing to have somebody write great music for other people. I think that's the most selfless act.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
How many requests do you get in a day just to have people have a song written and produced for?
A lot of requests.
Yeah.
It's you need to be selfless, and it's not easy because you know what, you need to transcend. You need to look at. If I'm writing a song for Charlie, I would need to fit in Charlie's character and the like.
Yeah, you need to be
it's
me.
Not that easy
What
because
I mean?
so I sometimes people would come to me and say, you know what, you're gonna do it in a few minutes, I know, because I'm like, no, bro.
Yeah.
Or sis, because I need to be with you a few days, have chats, look at what you've been listening to or doing lately, and then it works easier that way.
Yeah.
But I have been misconstrued a lot of times when people came through and then they want to make music, they just want it right there and then.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, no, today. They'll come tomorrow, I'll be like, no, today. Because I think for you to create magic with somebody, you need to have some connections with some
chemistry.
Yeah, some chemistry, yes. So I've had issues with some people because I failed to write music for them at a time when they want me to, Yeah, it's not an easy task, bro. It's not an easy task, and I get a lot of requests, but it's not easy though.
Yeah,
because you need to fit into that person's character, that artist's character. So it's really tough.
Amongst the songs that you've written for other people, which one do you feel up to now still, I should have kept that one?
Which one? They're quite a number. I feel like that for a lot of songs, though.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I would wake up and say, "Wow,
yeah.
Why didn't I just keep that to myself?"
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what makes me great and what I've realized is the fact that I'm able to write people's stuff and it works.
Yeah, exactly.
That gives me a lot of fulfillment.
Yeah. I've seen you work in studio. Just kindly take me through the process of music creation for you. What comes first? Just take me through that process.
I think it depends on the mood, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's words, lyrics. Sometimes it's the rhythm. So it entirely depends on the mood for that day. But I'm more of a fast writer if there's rhythm readily available. Yes. So I usually like to joke with these guys and say, you know what? If writing for you, and by the way, I'm not just writing for them. That's what the problem is. Because most of these songs I've written for people, I've also produced.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I usually tell them, it was going to be faster, especially if they want it just like that. Yeah. I usually tell them it's going to be faster if we had somebody to produce for us.
Yeah.
Because then I wouldn't be struggling to think of a rhythm.
Yeah, at the same time, right,
and you know what I mean. So I think it depends. It depends on the mood, really.
Yeah. Looking at the current crop of Zambian artists right now, I feel most of them have just come on the scene and sort of what they call have had it easy just to get there. What do you think they did right?
Sometimes it happens by chance and luck, though.
Is it?
Yes. It has.
Because me, there's artists that really can't sing, and their song is number one, and I'm like, what's a hype? To be honest, I don't know what people like. Like, what is it that people fall in love with? I don't know.
I think sometimes it's just chance and luck, bro. Yeah. Sometimes you're just lucky, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe you have a thing that people are looking for, because believe me, from how I look at music now, especially Zambian music, is what really people are appreciating right now is the play part of it. You know what I mean?
By play, you mean?
By, what will I call it? For lack of a better term, I would say, I wouldn't say corny, but I would say play for playing,
Yeah, that's not too serious.
Not too serious.
Yeah.
Not too serious. So you need to add that aspect to it.
Okay.
Back in the day, we were very serious, but I think people want to let off some steam to some music, So
yeah.
I mean, they've been serious the whole day, and then you come with your serious stuff. I mean, no, bro.
Yeah.
So I think it's that component of music that is just making. And I think these new artists have realized that.
Yeah.
Say, you know what? You had a stressful day at work.
Yeah.
You need to let off some steam. So how do you let off steam?
By listening to a song that is not as serious as the day was.
Yes, Papa. I mean,
that sort of thing. Yeah.
I like that stuff,
Yeah.
I like
it's
to sing
easy to
that.
Jive with. It's easy to get along with.
Yes.
You relate.
Yes. It will make you just let loose a bit.
Yeah.
And when it does that, I think it's cool. So I think that's one thing these guys have realized. Yeah.
And I've also seen a very big gap from I don't want to call them old school artists, like the legendary artists that started the industry. Talk about MC Wabwino, Danny, JK. That crop has failed to cross over to the new sound. How is being dynamic very important in especially in music industry? Because certain people say, for example, if today Danny did a vibe that is of today, people look at him funny, like, what are you doing? But then if he's gonna do a song that sounded like his second album, we're gonna be like, it's not giving us anything new.
Yes. That's what I usually tell.
What is there?
I think that's what I usually like to talk about this with a friend of mine who's a musician. I tell him, you know what? You would need to be diverse. Because let's say there's a paradigm shift in the industry and then everybody's just, you'll be obsolete as an artist, and that won't be good for you. But the greatest fear they have, according to what I've realized from these conversations, is that their fans, because that's the response they usually give me. If I made a song that is totally different from what I'm doing right now, I know it's okay for being diverse, but my fans will be lost.
Yeah.
So I feel people are afraid.
But could be true as well, yeah?
Yes, there's truth in that too.
But then it's a risk again to jump to the other end and see what
yes,
holds there.
It's a risk because you leave your fans, because fans will like you for a certain type of music.
Yeah.
Not everybody likes, so people have what they like.
Yeah.
So for you to continue pleasing your fans, you are boxed at the end of the day, which is not a good thing.
Yeah,
so
where fans dictate what you must sing for them.
I think that's what the problem is with a lot of us Zambian artists, because we don't want to dictate what to give the artists.
We wait for the fans to tell us, like,
the
you
fans
sing like
are the
this.
ones. Yes, the fans are the ones that are supposed to be telling us, no, no. I think it's my duty to tell my fans, say, you know what?
This is what you're feeding on.
Yes. Yes. So we've given, which is not a bad thing, we've given the fans so much power that they tend to tell us what we are supposed to do, how we are supposed to sing our music, how we are supposed to do ABCD. And then that becomes a problem, because
in the end you're boxed. After they're done with you, the whole movement moves to the other person.
Somebody else, yes. That's how it rolls. That's how it goes.
It's crazy.
It's quite unfortunate. Huh?
Yeah.
If you look at our friends from these other countries, they dictate the music.
Exactly.
Yes, it's the industry.
Every other year, it's a new vibe.
It's a new vibe
and
for them.
And people are following still.
Yes, but if you look at Zambian music has been where it is like since 2015, 16.
Yeah.
So now we're struggling. It's like we don't even know where to go now because we're afraid if we went this
So it's
route.
the fear, actually.
It's the fear, yes. We are very afraid.
And at the pace we're moving, do you think a Grammy would hit us anytime soon?
I would like to be brutally honest, bro. A Grammy has nominated through somebody else, or
Zambian artist nominated for a Grammy.
I would be honest. It would take a miracle if it's anytime soon. Yeah, it would take a miracle.
What does it take to be nominated for a Grammy?
I think it's just you need to sing music that would be recognized everywhere.
Globally.
You know? Global, yes. Because the biggest problem we have as Zambians is the toning down problem. You know, we like to tone down a lot so that we could meet our fans'
standards,
and that really kills us a lot. Because if you wanna sing a song that is supposed to be global, I mean, it starts with how you package the music. You know, how you start, how you produce it, how you do your video, the language you use. You know, you can use your language. I don't want to be misinterpreted. Having an international song, a song that would be recognized as an international hit song, doesn't necessarily mean you need to sing in English. But it also doesn't guarantee you that if you sing it in your local language entirely, it's gonna be a global hit song even without the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because already we need to look at the numbers, like people who are able to understand our language. That's a hiccup we have, because we've had this debate with a lot of people, and a lot of times the argument is, you know, people in Tanzania sing in their language, then I'm like, bro, Swahili is a globally renowned.
Should be like the second highest spoken language in Africa.
Yes. So if those guys sing in their language, I think it's okay.
Their reach is
Nigerian
wider.
Pidgin English is all over the issue. It's something I can also understand.
Yeah.
But let's look at our Zambia and our population, and we look at our Bemba and Nyanja. So whenever a conversation comes up saying, no, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's supposed to be in English, I'm like, bro, 90% or 80% of that song is supposed to be in English.
For it to get its global appeal.
Yes. And then just to like ecologically validate it as a Zambian song, put your language there.
Here and there, where we know like, this is ours.
30%, 20%. Otherwise,
it will be lost in translation.
So we need to look at numbers too. The argument again is no Rumba, people sing in Lingala, and like, look at their numbers and look at how far they've pushed their culture, those guys.
Yes.
The Rumba Congolese culture has been pushed for years, decades and decades before we could start pushing our culture. So those are people we cannot reference ourselves to.
Absolutely amazing, man. A lot of insight there.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the number of Zambian artists that are getting digital streams now and all of that. We've completely gone away from selling CDs now. Like we didn't see this phase coming, eh?
Ish. You blink, you remain.
Yeah.
It's like that, you know.
Yeah. Are people making money through their digital sales now?
I think people are making money through the digital sales. I know of one artist who sold their album to a digital distributing company, and they got good money.
Is it?
Yeah, they got good money. So I think that's the route now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think artists are staying back from doing albums? I've seen a lot of artists posting on their social media to say, for now, it's just going to be singles. Is it what can I say? Time management, or what is it? Are they scared to release albums now?
Yes, albums are
Or is single sales better than
No, albums are quite costly. They're quite involving, you know. They would need you to put in a lot of time. So I think what a lot of artists are trying to run away is the pressure that comes with
doing an album.
Yes, the pressure that comes with doing an album, because they're very costly. And you know, when you do your album, Charlie, an album will need promotion.
Yeah.
A lot of it. It will need a lot of things. as opposed to a single. So,
Right.
so when I see an artist saying it's just singles, no album, I feel they don't want to entangle themselves in that pressure of trying to push, produce, promote, and do everything.
Yeah.
The pressure that the album comes with, you know?
Yeah. All right. Before I go to the singers, I want to ask you, for you in Zambia, who have been like one of the greatest producers, and by that I mean people that entirely shifted the whole industry in terms of music production, because I think we come a long way.
For me, you know, I respect each and every producer for every
their contribution.
Yeah, for that contribution, because I can't just entirely pin it to one individual, you know, because all of them have different strengths, you know.
Yeah.
All of them have different strengths and weaknesses. So you might find that one strength might be the other's weakness.
Yeah.
So I would start from Joe Chirango, start from Danny.
Yeah.
Those guys are TK. My list, this is how it goes.
Yeah.
Come to Charlie Bravo, Jerry Fingers.
Yeah.
The Keben Studio brothers. You know, Elijah. When I say this, these are people I've looked up to.
Yeah.
So after that phase, Ben Blaze, after that phase, we were the upcoming producers.
Yeah.
After that phase, you know. So within our time of reign as, you know, super producers, at a particular time, I also looked up to people like Ray Doe.
Yeah.
From each of these people, there's an element that I learned or picked from, you know. I picked something from Trickster, Ray Doe, and you, Charlie, because I know a lot of people do not know that Charlie is a music producer. He's a dope
It's out
producer.
there now.
It's out there now. Ish. This man inspires me a lot.
I'm on his list.
No.
Don't play with me.
Yo,
there.
bro. Come on. You need to tell the people.
Yeah.
You need to tell the people
I've been
that
hiding for a long time, eh?
You've been hiding for a long time. You know, let me spill some beans here.
Yeah.
Can I spill? Am I allowed to?
Yeah, please do.
Ish. This guy you're seeing here has produced a lot of mad ads and songs.
Yeah.
You collectively produced Ducks on My Africa and the Drum Bros. These guys are the Drum Bros. The Drum Bros.
Okay, the mask is out now.
I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be... Are you recording?
Yeah, it is recording, eh?
This is not going away. Please.
Don't cut that part.
Don't cut that part, please. People need to know that Charlie here is a dope producer. So
Yeah,
I've also looked up to you, bro. To be honest, you know, I'll sit down and say, and you know, the good thing about you is that the diversity is wow. And I know this is something that people may not know, but you know, Charlie produced a song for Papakado.
Oh, yes.
People remember.
Wow.
You remember?
Yes.
I think people, I don't know, Papakado Makoswe.
Yes.
So it's,
People remember him, like,
yes,
man.
it's the diversity for you that I really appreciate, because you know what? If a song came to me and people said it was Charlie that produced it, I would be like,
you
know, there's no similarity whatsoever in what you do. You know, there's that distinction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So came another generation of producers like Fobena Stash, Easy the producer, DJ Dro.
I remember you being nominated for best producer alongside Stash. I remember you guys having a conversation that if you win me this one, and he got it.
Yeah.
You know, why do you think it beat you in that?
I think it was social media presence.
That is important as well.
That's something I overlooked for the longest time, you know, because I wanted to be Mzege, you know what I mean? Yeah, I wanted to be the guy just behind and is very elusive.
Yeah.
And then I think it was a bit late for me to realize that, you know, actually, social media is where the thing is.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I regret, because I didn't put in so much into social media.
Yeah,
I should have done that. I think that's the reason why he won that particular award for me.
Absolutely.
Because
and he's a dope producer too. Like,
he is dope.
Amazing.
But truth be told, at that particular time, no, 3/4, like the backbone of the award show was my music, bro. And my
Absolutely.
artist.
Yep.
For that year.
Yep.
So, I mean, it definitely had to be me.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I didn't have that social media presence.
Yeah, but it's coming. I can feel it, man. Are you gonna have it?
It has to.
It really has to.
It has to.
It really, really has to. Anyway, you are working on something. For the longest time, you've been promising the people dropping a collabo album with T-Sean. How far have we gone with that one, bro?
No, we done, bro. We done. Our second single is out because our first single was we did Killer Love.
Ooh, that's one of my favorite songs of all time. That one.
So we dropped Killer Love sometime last year. The Killer Love features Waji, and then we just dropped. Hey, forgotten the title of the song, please.
Too
Oh my
Nice.
God, Too Nice. It's too nice to
You
be
see?
forgotten, please. We dropped Too Nice, Too
Yeah.
Nice, mad videos, mad collabo,
Ooh,
mad.
that collaboration
the import
was
is
amazing,
just,
man.
the import is just massive, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our second single off the album. Album is expected to drop by the 8th of April.
This month.
Yes.
Oh, next month, yeah?
Next month.
Next month, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the most anticipated album because, I mean, like two great heads coming together.
There's fire in the album, bro.
Yeah?
You know, I listen to the songs sometimes and, you know,
You just go
I
like,
get chills,
wow.
bro. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is some...
I think it's about time, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's about time.
It is about time.
Really
bro.
about time.
See that.
So, what are we expecting? Are we expecting a solo project later on, or it's going to be collaborations and songwriting for people?
Solo projects coming, songwritings for people. I've just beefed up everything this time around, you
Yeah.
know. I don't know, because already into the year, written already a lot of songs that are already out for people. You know, just in the first quarter of the year. And I also have my own music that I've recorded that I've shot for. Some I'm supposed to shoot for. That's for my project. And I'm still writing for other people, plus this collaborative album that we have. So there's a lot of beefing
work,
up,
yeah.
bro. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. I know there's somebody out there looking at you and been appreciating your works for so long and would love, like, one day I want to work with him. How do they get to you, and what do you look at before you work with somebody, especially somebody new?
Eish. I think commitment. For me, it's commitment, really.
Yeah.
I just don't want to work with anybody who would come and want to do a
Hey,
song
and I've
for
noticed
me.
you're so
and then-
particular with that, eh?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if we make music and then it doesn't go anywhere, it would be
Would have wasted first
a
of
waste
all
of time, bro. So commitment for me.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people hit me up and say, "No, bro, I want to work with you." I'm like, "How far are you willing to push this thing?" Because you
Exactly.
know, if I'm supposed to put in my time to this, you need to be serious about it.
Yeah.
So how far are you willing to push it? Are you willing to shoot for it? Are you willing to do ABC for it?
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's about going all out.
It's about going all out, yeah. Going all out.
And now we're in an era of social media, bro. Like, how do you think it has also made work easy in terms of pushing music? Because I see a lot of hits, we hear them from TikTok, then we go look for them now.
Yeah. It is, I would say, it's a bittersweet kind of situation for me because at the same time, it has made things, in as much as it has made things easier,
Right.
there's also a congested platform because everybody now knows, you know, they don't need to put in a dime to push something. So there's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a challenge in one way and a good thing in another. So all it takes is good stuff and some.
yeah, good music will always find its way out
Most
to
definitely.
the people. Yeah,
Most
because
definitely.
these days you open your Facebook feed, it's just posters, music.
Yes.
Sometimes it's exhausting to go through each and every, like, you know.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
So
yes.
I think it's also a bittersweet kind of situation, like you've said. It
Yeah.
can help. Sometimes it's detrimental because even good music, you bypass it because, it's loud, it's too noisy.
Yeah, you're like, there's too many things you need to look at, you know. So you're like, you won't have the time, and then you end up just bypassing a great song, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So now, before I let you go, man, what are you listening to, man? 5 songs.
5 songs.
Yeah.
I'm listening to Manana, By Towela, I love that groove.
Towela is on
Yeah,
fire,
Manana is
bro.
dope, bro. It's dope for days. I'm also listening to. Senifuno Kotaneka was.
Which one is it?
Be My Ever. I'm listening to Be
Oh,
My
yeah.
Ever. I'm also listening to. What am I listening to? I'm listening to KB Franco and J Cash.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a dope song as well.
That's 3. I'm also listening to Dreams.
Dreams.
The new J Cash, yes. Yeah. Dreams J Cash, and I'm listening to Alone Tishon.
Dope. That's a great collab, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing, man. As I let you go, how can people catch you on socials if you want to get in touch and
Okay, my socials, my Instagram handle is, do you call it the handle?
Yeah, Instagram
I'm just getting a hang of this social media stuff, so.
No, you're right. You're doing good. Yeah, it's a handle.
Yeah, is the OG Kekero. Yep. Then my Facebook page is Kekero OG. And I'm Kekero ZX on Twitter.
On Twitter.
Yep.
Yeah, so get liking, get following, and don't miss out on the great album that's dropping next month. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been talking to Kekero, man. It's been nice talking to you, man. Keep shining.
Oh, man, bro. Thanks. Thank you very much.
Until next week, this has been Charlie, and we out for now.